HTML site. And we'll call that structure. S-T-R-U-C-T-U-R-E. Now you see that I was clicking through a lot of the places where I've saved it, but I mean it's going to be different on your computer, so don't get too confused with that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to basically tell you is things to look out for in websites. I'll probably include a few links after this screencast as well to show you what I'm talking about. So the first thing we have in a lot of sites really, I guess, is the main header. So the main, I don't know, content for the site. No, not the content, it's not the content actually, it's the main heading, I guess. So in here you could have things like your logo and maybe your navigation and things like that. Okay? Next thing, we'll look at this throughout the course. You'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go on now, do another one, maybe come back one, and I'll say this is the content heading. Okay? I know you've done this before, H1 and H2s. Then we'll go with the content. And in that content, you know, we might have something like a list or an unordered list. So what I'm going to do is just come down here and I'm going to click on this button, which is an unordered list. And it gives me this bullet. So I guess I'll say maybe point 1, point 2, and point 3 or something like that. Then I'm going to go for another heading. Now, let me show you something interesting. I'm going to undo that for you. When you go to, when you do 3 or 4 list items and you just keep pressing enter, it assumes that you want to continue, right? So I pressed enter there and it assumes that I want to continue my list and I don't. So what I'll do is I'll hit the backspace key and then hit end. Point 3. Hit the backspace key. That's it. Sorry. I hit the backspace. I hit the enter key twice. So I hit it once and then hit it again, and then it assumes you want to start from scratch. Okay, next I'm going to put in another heading. Now, this could maybe be where secondary information on the home page comes, or information on a sidebar panel. It's still important to information enough to have it on the home page, but it's not your main kind of message. In some cases, for designers, a lot of designers would just call it filler information. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll get some content for that. And I'm going to show you a site that I constantly go to. I'm going to open up one of my browsers here. And this will be a good site for you guys to work with to get some of your information. And I'll go into Google here, and it's called Lipsum, I think. Not Lipsmacker, Lipsum. And this is just waffle, basically. So I'm going to copy any of that, select it, press Control-C. Alt and Tab, jump back over to Dreamweaver. Okay, so that's my heading, and I'll press enter, and that's where my content will go. There's that Lipsum. And just to make it stand out a bit, I guess we'll select this fellow. Maybe that was something important for our site, so italicize that, and maybe we'll bold just any old random thing as well. So now we've worked on these 3, the bold, the italic, and the unordered list. So the only thing that I can give you from here is to make sure that you select your text first. Select things first before you apply something to it. Okay? The next thing I guess we'll have then is something that all websites nowadays have, and that's called a footer. Now, so what I'm going to do now is press Control-S because I want to show you something. You see that structure.html? Do you see that asterisk beside the HTML? That means that we haven't saved. So anytime you see that, I want your natural reaction to be Control-S, or if you're using a Mac, Command-S. So I'm going to do that now, Command-S. And you'll see there's my asterisk gone. Okay, so we're saved now. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is just start putting, you know, different classes on these or different styles on these. Not using my style sheet now. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to make that my H1. So I'm going to go down to the format in my properties bar and select heading 1. Now I just had a thought, folks. Maybe your properties aren't down here, okay? But that's not to worry. People can use different workspace settings in Dreamweaver. That's something I'm going to go through in the next class, at the very beginning of the class next week, so make sure you're early. Now, if you can't see your properties, go up to Window, and can you see properties? There you go. You should be looking for properties there. So there's my H1. I'm going to go to the next one. That's my content heading, so I'm guessing that's going to be a H2 for now, right? It's a secondary heading, but it's still important enough. That's why it's bold and that's why it's big. Okay. Now the next one, content. This stuff here, right, is going to be just regular content. So this just needs to be paragraph. Okay, like that. The next one we have is like the sub-bar heading, or like secondary, or, you know, different information. I can't say secondary because we've already used the secondary heading. So you know what I mean. It's information that isn't as important as first and second kind of headings. So I've got that selected, and I'm going to choose a heading 3 for that one. This fella, of course, when I selected there, it's already set to paragraph, which is good. And the footer, I guess, we'll just set to paragraph as well, and it already is. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, again, jump up to this fella and press Control S. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, it needs to be saved, so Control S. So now watch this. If I select this heading 1 and jump down here, you can see that inside the body of my HTML page, I have a H1 tag. So when I click on certain bits, that changes. Watch this. If I click on this and jump down again, that's gone to H2. If I jump up on this, H3. If I jump in here, it's a P. Okay, so I'm hoping me scrolling up and down now very quickly is making you too dizzy. So what I'm going to do now is save this, and let's have a look. What will I do? Yeah, I'll hit the split button so we can have a look at our design and our code. So at the moment our code is just the usual intro, our head, our HTML tag, our head, our title. We might as well give it a title. What did I say it was? Structure. And that will come up in the bar at the top. You can see this will change now. Well, it should do. There it is, structure. Okay, sometimes if you make a change in here, you might have to click in here for it actually to update and for that change to take place, so don't panic. So our head's closed, and there's our body. H1, heading 1, this is the main heading. H2, P for paragraph. Then we have this thing called UL, and what a UL stands for is a unordered list. And inside an unordered list, you have different list items, right? So it's unordered list. Inside the unordered list, there's a list item. Inside that list item, there's a paragraph with the text saying point 1. Close that list item. Next list item is point 2. Close that list item. Next list item is point 3. Says points, should be point 3. Why is that coming up? Point 3. I pressed something by mistake there, folks. Don't worry about that. And then the UL is closed. So our list is closed. It's opened. Then there's a list opened, list closed, list opened, list closed, list opened, list closed. And then it's closed. H3, another heading, H3 is closed. Another paragraph, and we have this here standing for when I click the italic thing. And this is strong for when I clicked the bold. The paragraph is closed. That's our footer. Body and HTML are closed. Wonderful. So now what I'm going to do is start putting these into divs.